Imagine this, you have a headache and it's been bothering you for weeks now. So you decide to finally get yourself checked and the doctor doesn't conduct any tests, he barely asks questions and gives you a prescription. Flying blind, hoping for the best, with zero information about the root cause of your headache. This is exactly how it is when you are dealing with your finances or not dealing with it as a business owner. And if you are a contractor who's not looking at your financial reports at all, then you're like this scenario, you're just flying blind. It is so important to know exactly what is going on with your financials. And one way to do this is to use tools like QuickBooks Online. While I understand that most contractors either one, have no time to Google or teach themselves how to use it or understand it, or two, don't know where to find someone who knows exactly how to use QuickBooks for construction businesses, well, you're in luck. Hi, I'm Elizaveta, the founder of Beyond Book Solutions, where we help construction business owners save time, money, and pay themselves more. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to generate and actually understand your financial reports inside QuickBooks Online. I will break it down step by step so you can use these reports to keep your projects profitable, manage your cash flow, and make better business decisions. So really, by the end of this video, you'll know what to look at, how often to check it, and how to make sure you're not losing money where you shouldn't be. So let's dive in. First off, if you're more of a spreadsheet kind of guy, well, with QuickBooks, you don't need to use them anymore. No more messy spreadsheets or guessing where your money is going. QuickBooks Online is very popular with construction because it makes managing job costs, subcontractor payments, and 1099s way easier. If you are running a construction business and not using it, you are probably spending way too much time stressing over your books instead of focusing on growing your business. So if you need help with setting up a brand new account on QuickBooks, I also have a tutorial for that, which I'm linking below. So first, let's talk about where to actually find all the necessary reports in QuickBooks Online, because if you don't know where they are, you're not going to run them. First, log into QuickBooks Online. On the left-hand menu, click on Reports. Here, you will see a list of standard reports and custom reports. QuickBooks gives you a variety of reports, but today we're focusing on the ones that actually matter for construction businesses. So first up is the profit and loss report. This one is huge because it tells you if you're actually making money or just working for free. So what is it? Profit and loss shows you all your income, job costs, and expenses over a period of time. Why is it important? It tells you how profitable your business is and where your money is going. How often should you run it? At least once a month. I would say weekly if you have a lot going on and really want to stay on top of things. Here's how to generate it. Go to the reports, then search for profit and loss, choose your date range, and click Run Report. Okay, now that you've generated it, how do you read the results? Here's how. The revenue, top line, all income from construction jobs. Cost of goods sold, that includes all direct costs like materials, subcontractors, equipment, expenses. Gross profit is revenue minus cost of goods sold, and this tells you how much you're making before any overhead expenses. Then operating overhead expenses like rent, software, marketing, payroll, insurance. And that brings us to net profit, your bottom line, what's left after all the expenses. Here's a pro tip. If your gross profit margin is below 40%, it may be time to adjust pricing or cut unnecessary expenses. Watch the percentage of your direct costs and do not let it get too high and eat up all your revenue before we even get to overhead spending. Another big metric to look at here is the percentage of your overhead, which will help you determine what your markup should be. All right, next is the job costing report. If you don't know how much each job is costing you, you're probably guessing at your pricing, and guessing leads to losing money. So what is it? This report breaks down the profitability of individual projects. Why is it important? Well, it helps you see which jobs are making money and which ones are draining your bank account. How often should you run it? Ideally after each phase of the job is completed, but at the minimum, run it monthly to track overall trends. So how to generate it? You go into the projects, pick the project that you want to look at the numbers at, you go into reports and find project profitability. How to read it? Well, the total revenue for the project minus total costs, labor, materials, equipment, subcontractors, that adds up to net profit per job. Pro tip here is if you're consistently losing money on jobs, break down your expenses more granular and see where costs are exceeding estimates. If you want a more detailed tutorial on how to set up your QuickBooks Online for job costing, I've got just the video for you. Just tap the link in the description, it will take you there. All right, next is estimate versus actual report. This is my favorite report, especially for fixed price contracts. You would need to sign up for QuickBooks Online Advanced to see this report in the very best format. Otherwise, I do have a couple workarounds to do it in QuickBooks Online Plus, but it gets a bit more tedious to track and pull the necessary report. Reach out to me if you need help setting this up. Link to schedule a call with me is in the description. So what is this report? This report breaks down each project on what costs you estimated per cost code line item and compares it to what actually came out of your bank account. Why is it important? It helps you see which jobs you might be underestimating and may need to be revisited. How often should you run it? Well, ideally after each phase of the job is completed, but at the minimum, run it on a monthly basis to track overall trends. So how do you generate it? In individual projects, search for Reports tab, then pick Estimate versus Actual and run it. It will give you detailed numbers and total changes between the estimate and actual. This will show if you went over budget or still have some budget left to spend. A profitable business can still go under if cash flow isn't managed correctly. Cash is king, and if you're running out of it, you are in trouble. The statement of cash flow is a must. What is it? This report tracks where your cash is coming from and where it's going. Why is it important? It helps you avoid cash shortages that can shut down your projects. How often should you run it? Run it at least monthly. How to generate it? In Reports, search for Statement of Cash Flow, select your date range, and click Run Reports. How do you read it? Well, operating activities is money coming in and out from your core business. Investing activities, money spent on buying or selling activities. Financing activities is loans taken or repaid. Pro tip here, if your operating cash flow is negative, you might have a collections problem or be overpaying for materials and services upfront. Next up, generating accounts receivable report. What is it? A report that tracks unpaid invoices and how long they have been overdue. Why is it important? Well, late payments kill cash flow, and this report helps you stay ahead of them. How often should you run it? Weekly, so you're not chasing payments at the last minute. How to generate it? Search for accounts receivable agent summary or detail. Select last 30, 60 days, click Run Report. Pro tip, set up automatic invoice reminders in QuickBooks to get paid faster. Let's face it, we ourselves can be forgetful, even if it means sending those invoices to get paid. Plus, if you are juggling multiple projects at a time, it can be quite hard to keep track of absolutely everything. On the flip side, our clients can also be forgetful. With automatic invoice reminders, the whole "I forgot" excuse won't fly anymore. Another thing you can do is to add late fees to the contract and request deposits upfront. Next up is accounts payable report. Now, keeping up with your outstanding bills is just as important as tracking revenue. Ignoring unpaid expenses can really hurt your cash flow and put you in a financial pickle. So what is this report? That report tracks all unpaid bills, showing what you owe to vendors and subcontractors. Why is it important? It helps you manage cash flow by keeping track of what needs to be paid in the future and when, preventing overdue penalties and cash shortages. How often should you run it? Probably weekly, so you always know what bills are coming up and can plan for it accordingly. Here's how to generate it. You just go into the reports, then search for accounts payable detail or agent summary, select your preferred date range, and then click Run. How do we read it? Well, the current 0 to 30 days, that's invoices that are due soon. Past due, 30 to 60 days or 60 plus, overdue bills that need immediate attention. Vendors owed, who owe you money, and how much. Pro tip here, set up automated bill pay reminders in QuickBooks to avoid missing due dates and keep vendor relationships strong. I get it, we've all got bills to pay, and it seems like a never-ending list. Setting up automated reminders will help you stay on top of your bills. Now, if you hire subcontractors, tracking payments is very important, not just for your financial records, but also for tax season. This is where 1099 report comes in. What is it? It tracks all payments made to independent contractors that are not corporations. It helps you make sure that you stay compliant with the IRS because you're legally required to issue those. The last thing you want is the IRS making calls to your number. How often should you run it? Right at the tax reporting time. Here's how to generate it. Go to Reports, then search for 1099 Transaction Detail Report. Choose the tax year and click Run Report. Review the list to ensure all the payments to subcontractors are accounted for. That's important. Pro tip here, also make sure all your subs have a completed W-9 form on file before you start working with them. This will save you a ton of headaches come tax season. Another thing to watch out for is to make sure that every vendor that you paid more than $600 in 1 year has the check mark in his details to track 1099s. Otherwise, you wouldn't see their name in this report. All right, that's it. Now you know exactly which financial reports to run in QuickBooks Online at the very minimum, why they matter, and how often to check them. Trust me, getting a handle on your numbers will change how you run your business. If you got value from this video, subscribe for more QuickBooks and construction finance tips. See you in the next video.